Welcome everybody for tonight's Company Fused recast. This time it's a replay of a match between Eiffel Bridge, and he's playing as the British force, and he plays against Metal and Fiend, playing as the DAK. And with that, let's give it a try. I'm pretty much looking forward for this matchup because we don't see the US forces and we don't see the Wehrmacht as well, so that is pretty much an off-meter game already, in my opinion. Alright, so the DK player is going for Panzer Grenadiers first. That is interesting. Usually most people are going for second Panzer Pioneer first, and then maybe for Panzer Grenadiers, but it's nice to see. Curious what his plan is now. It's looking like he's going for a very aggressive push over here in the center of the map. Interesting indeed. He's not building up sandbags. Let's deactivate the Fog of War real quick. Alright, so what do we see here? The British forces player is indeed going for the double Zappa opener. I think that is yeah. Is it mandatory for the British forces? I think so. In my opinion, double Zappa is very important for the British forces. Alright, yeah. Looks like he's just about to go for his cutoff, or the British forces cutoff over here. However, we see a blob capping one single point. It's not even a huge munition point, so I think that was a little bit of a mistake over here. Anyway, the next Panzer Grenadier is on its way to the cutoff as well, or to the center of the map. If a bridge doesn't react to it so far. It's likely because he thinks, maybe it's just one 10x3 point over here that gets the cutoff over here. But maybe that's not too important at the moment. Interesting. So, okay, so the entire DAK blob over here is capping the cutoff. Yeah, and I think that is why Blobs in a 1 vs 1 are not too strong, actually. I mean, it's interesting to see that the British forces map control is not even too strong at the moment. Even though the DAK... Wow! So three units for one fuel point to capture. That is quite inefficient. And we didn't see any engagement so far, so no shots were or had been fired so far. Also interesting, I mean, nearly... Okay. First shots were fired at the 3-minute mark. Interesting. Ooh, and that's the cutoff for the DAK. No more resistance camp for the DAK anymore. A little bit of a high ground watch for the British forces. That's a pretty bad fight for the DAK over here. Oh no, that is so efficient. Hurts me to see that. Now, he split up the blob to have a little bit more cap power. That is indeed a good move. But now he is reuniting all his remaining units on field to form a big blob, which is not having any impact so far. Interesting. Let's see. Maybe the blob will have some impact soon, because some of the British forces are over here. Ooh, that's MG. Alright, so the British forces seem to be well aware of of a certain blob issue. It's not even an issue so far, but it could turn out to be an issue soon. Alright, see, okay, DAK is trying to get back the cutoff over here. Blob is moving out. It's not working. That is a very bad soft retreat over here. I think people shouldn't do stuff like that, because that's not of any use, right? They are in the base anyway, so a hard retreat would have been they're doing the same job basically. But due to the soft retreat, the only benefit of the soft retreat so far was that they were able to shoot 2 times now. at this squad, but I think on long range that was not even too harmful. Ooh, no, the blob is entering the area of effect of the MG. Not too bad. No pins. Ooh. Yeah, alright. I'm curious what this blob will see some use or some usefulness, let's say. So far, for me, it looks like a little bit that yeah, the DK maybe just lacking micros, so that he can't just move all the units separately, which is why he's in need of using a blob. I don't know whether he can play another way. Be able to play without using a blob? I don't know. Let's see.
We have vehicles available in reserve.
Yeah. However, that's now the reason why I usually don't recommend using blobs in 1v1s. Because, I mean, the guy player heavily relied on the blob, and as we can see, the UK Forces player, he's having the map control, not just a little bit of map control, but very severe map control. Okay, now the DK is not even a very bad spot, because these units, one of the rest, that's a wipe. Oh boy, alright. Spicy. Spicy, not even bad. Interesting. But that's armored car. The DK seems not quite to notice. Yeah, okay, now they're retreating. Idle blob capping units over here. Good move from the DK over to cap over here. 250 survived the mine. Awesome. So that was quite some impact now. The DK just wiped one Zappa squad with a flamethrower. That was very huge. And most likely left the flamethrower inside of this building, so the British forces lost it entirely. Got back some map control, at least victory points wise. That's also not too bad. And now it's having access to 2 assault grenades. No. Not sure whether that was the smartest choice actually. Oh. Yeah, okay. Why not? Ah. Nice usage of the tech round. Nice. However, for the DK player, I would recommend it to go for the either for the mobile assault mechanized group. No, wait a second. The Panzerjäger mechanized group. Yep, the mobile Panzerjäger mechanized group. Okay. Yeah. I always thought that these guys were called differently. Anyway, because these guys obviously are very strong against Hammer Armored Car. Ooh, nice engagement over here. But the Armored Car is not even too dangerous at the moment. It's used to be a little bit idle. But that's completely okay, because completely fine, because I mean the map control for the British forces is it's hardcore. Alright, so I saw that the DK player called in one of these assault mechanized group guys. Basically that's fine, but they are very expensive. How much do they cost? 340. And take a look at that. All these abilities cost the same amount of manpower, right? 275. So it's way more efficient to only call in these guys and yeah, maybe these guys as well, and maybe even the mortar. But in most of the situations, the DK doesn't need the mortar, or does need other units more desperately, let's say. However, to call in these assault grenadiers is very cost efficient, because You save... You don't just save 50 manpower for the assault grenades pissing, but also the 250 manpower for 250. That's very huge. And you can use the 250 to heal up your units. That is basically something I would have recommended over here earlier. I think the entire DAK army was like over here together with the 250. I think that would have been a great opportunity to heal up the entire army. Should make use of the Y ability of the 250. Anyway, he decided to build one panzer grenade or one assault grenadier squad manually. That's also fine. One can do that. And the DAK is not even in that a bad spot at the moment, even though the early game and also now the early mid game was not even that good for the DAK. Despite from the Zappa wipe with flamethrower, that was good, but the rest was not quite that good. Yeah, because of stuff like that. Imagine another mine being planted over here, and the blob hit it. And all of these squads are quite low, so there would have been a probability of like 5-6 model drops due to one mine. Now set that up to the cost of one mine. 35 pieces or 30 or 35 pieces of ammunition. I'm a little bit confused today. 30 pieces of ammunition. Yeah. That is... Ooh. Would have been a quite efficient mine. Alright, okay. So, Humbers firing to blobs is also a pretty nice thing. Also, MGs firing into blobs. What's going on over here? Oh, was that a wipe? I think so. Not bad. Let's switch to Alpha Bridge perspective. Okay. Can't even judge. Did he lose a? Did he lose a section over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. Ha! Unfortunately, I didn't pay attention how many sections the British forces had before this incident. But I assume it was a wipe. I'm not quite sure, but could be. Interesting to see that both players are playing without healing. I mean, the DAK now, where is it? Yeah, got access to the healing truck or medical truck. It's a good choice to bring a little bit later, because sometimes it's just more important to get more units onto the field, because if you are just having superior firepower, then that can compensate your lack of heal, because the enemy will just lose more manpower due to the superior firepower of yours. So sometimes it's a good idea to go for the heal a little bit later, as both players did. But minute 13, in my opinion, that's a little bit too late. And we see the British force having 3 very low sections, and these would really benefit from some infirmaries. Anyways, that's the AT squad. The DAK paired up with 2 anti-tank guns, even though they're a little bit off.
Damnation.
Be a huge threat to the Mathilda, even though the Mathilda is quite a tank. Oh, look at that beast. The beautiful Mathilda. I'm curious on the performance of the Mathilda. I was a little bit afraid of using Mathildas against the DAK because of them being able to spam martyrs. I hate these martyrs. Oh, interesting. We see a British forces player going for the armored British armored battle group and the T4 as well. That is yeah, rather unusual, I would say, because usually it makes sense to skip the T4 and save the resource, because you can just call in Cheshire or a Black Prince, stuff like that. On the other hand, it can be quite handy to have some food guards, or maybe even the 17 powder from time to time. Maybe not quite against the DAK, because yeah, the DAK Tiger is a rare unit to see lately.
We're losing a munitions point.
Ooh, that is a very lonely Mathilda. Okay, that's dangerous. Wouldn't do engagements like these because there's a high probability that the Matilda would be snared by the blob of death over here. And there are certainly 2 anti-tank guns, I think. We noticed that earlier already, so... No, don't engage to the MG. Go for the cutoff. Oh, but what is this? It's just the base artillery, right? Nothing too frightening, but the AK is moving, trying to prevent the base artillery. That is a good move. Ooh, that's the blob. The blob isn't here having... Whoa! The impact blob should have. Base artillery actually really dropped 2 models. That is awesome. And just 1 model of this section. Oh, and it was a wipe! No way. Oh. 1 model drop was a wipe, and further model drops from base artillery and the Matilda. Oof. Oof, awful. Ooh, that could be another wipe for the poor DAK. Oh boy, the Matilda survives. I think these tank hunters won't be able to take down the Matilda, and the anti-tank guns are too slow. Wow, the Matilda is such a beast. Holy moly, alright, the DAK lost quite some stuff. Both Panzer Pioneers are dead now. Oh no, and another Panzer Grenadier squad died. Wow, I think at this point it's GG already. Though maybe the DAK player doesn't feel like it, because maybe he thinks, but there's some units left and 2 anti-tank guns, anti-inf firepower, but now he's wasting another MG against the Humber. Huge Humber play over here from the British forces, even though it might die now due to these anti-tank guns. Yeah, or no. Died to the 250. Which one actually? This one. Yeah, nice. Awesome job, 250. Ooh, that was close. Too bad. The heroic Humber, it died, but it took an MG34 with it. Oh, what is happening over here? The Matilda shouldn't be towards the enemy line, I think. It's quite low. Panzer 3, but it's just a flamethrower Panzer 3. Okay. I think that's even a good choice, because the DAK at the moment is having a lot of anti-tank firepower, but not quite a lot of anti-inf firepower, because the push 2 minutes earlier, or one minute earlier, was horrible for the DAK, because it lost too much infantry. Alright. Ooh. That was a fast wipe. Awesome. That's nice. Not quite for the British forces, but for the DAK. It's a little bit an equilibrium now.
We have vehicles available in reserve. Commandant, we have command points available.
A second Matilda. If the second Matilda will have the same impact as the first one had, then it will be GG pretty soon. Interesting though to see that the DAK is not quite performing some city playstyle over here, but it's heavily fortifying the northern area of the map, and I don't think that is quite a good choice, because over here we just have access to 1 victory point. Over there that are 2 victory points, and there is quite a lot of resources over here as well, because I mean these 2 ammunition points together make up for 10 pieces of ammunition per minute. I mean, 16
Enemy forces have captured
pieces of
the
ammunition over
victory
here.
point.
That is, of course, a huge contrast. But over here you have access to 2 fuel points, 10 times fuel points as well. As well as 2 victory points. So I think it's more important for the mid and late game for the DAK to focus on the lower area of the map. Or not just for the DAK, but also for other fractions. But I think even more for the DAK, because the DAK is having access to the Flak 36. And this thing positioned like maybe over here or so can be very strong. Because it basically denies everything everything on the map that is needed to win the game. That is a flamethrower. Just chilling there. Ooh, double anti-tank gun. Matildas are a little bit in danger because they could be snared, but yeah, please retreat these guys. Ooh, Panzer IV is coming in. Panzer IV, that is just the command Panzer IV, it won't quite penetrate the Matildas. That's a bounce, but the rear armor maybe can be penetrated. Ooh, no! Even a rear armor bounce. Awesome! These Matildas. Will we see a snare? Yes, that's a snare. So maybe one Matilda will be dead soon, because these anti-tank guns most likely will do the job. In the meantime, we see some idle units over here. It's a little bit sad because... Ooh! Could the second Matilda even die? Or will the Matildas win? Oh boy, okay. Wow, that's a horrible GG. That's really bad to see. The DAK, and that is... Wow. That's Christmas for the Matildas. Come on. Some shots into the blob, please. Yes! Some more shots, please. Oh, juice, pure juice. That's how you deal with blobs. Oh boy. Attack round. Alright. Oh, the poor DAK. Yeah, I think with this match we see the immense weaknesses of blobs. I know most people of the company reviews community consider blobs to be very overpowered, and that certainly is true for team games. But as you can see, in 1vs1, forming blobs just costs you map control, and they are so vulnerable against mines, against Matildas, against indirect fire, artillery, all of this stuff. Ooh, that's just a flamethrower. So we don't see any damage against the Matildas. And now I hope that he will split up his blob so that he will cap some of the map, but no. We don't see that. No map control for the DAK. I mean, sure, I get that it can be quite difficult to handle so many units, like that are already 12 units over here the DAK is having. So handling or micromanaging 12 units can be quite difficult. But I assume that maybe the DK player is not making use of things like assigning teams and stuff like that. Because I can't imagine that his micro is actually too bad to manage these 12 units in a way that a blob like that is needed all the time. I think the use of some control groups, he could... and now the Black Prince. He could pretty much use all these units way more efficiently. Oh, Black Prince. How much damage? Ooh, a lot of damage. This Panzer III is very dead. And I think the DAK is very dead in general, because there are no anti-tank guns left. There is one tank hunter squad, which is pretty dead now. Ah, that is a very, very... definite GG. Defeat. GG. And well played. Even though I think... I assume that the DAK player is not making use of things like follow-up commands or assigning teams to the troops, and I think that is why Metal and Fiend highly relied on these blobs. I think that was just because yeah, he's not able to use his APM as efficient as Alphabridge, for instance. I assume that Alphabridge used these tools, or these these tools. And with that, he was able to just avoid the blob. Metal and Fiend, however, yeah, we saw basically one blob during the entire match, which cost him the entire map control, obviously. And the blob was punished badly by Alphabridge and his Mathildas, because every time there's a Mathilda and it's shooting on a blob, and there are like 30 models within that area, and the Mathilda is having an AoE damage and obviously takes out a lot of units with just one shot. That's a little bit rough for blob users. Alright, so that was a fun match to watch. A DAK against the British forces, awesome. And it was also awesome to see a huge blob, and to see how the British forces are able to deal with blobs. Nice, that was a lot of fun. So, everybody, let's take this take-home message. Try not to blob in a 1 versus 1, as long as you don't need the blob to repel, for instance, snipers or light weakers or stuff like that, to lower their efficiency. So, yeah, if that's not necessary, try not to blob. Because you obviously lose all your map control, and in Company Furious 3 wipes are way harder to get with blob, because retreating units are, yeah, close to invincible in Company Furious 3, so it's not even necessary to use blobs to get some squad wipes in retreat paths or so. Yeah, so that's why you should not use blobs. They are very prone to mines as well and everything. Now, how could you prevent blobbing around? Yeah, as I said, you should try to use follow-up commands using shift, and you also should use teams. So you should assign teams using control and then the respective number for your team. For instance, control 1 for, let's say, a sniper or an MG or so. Control 2 maybe for Mathilda or so. Or maybe both Mathildas. Maybe you would like to have both Mathildas in the same team. That could be the case. And the tank guns, for instance, are usually team 4 for me. And I think that is very handy, because, I mean, what else would you do with your left hand? Most likely no fapping, right? So use it to control your teams. I think that is a very efficient usage of your left hand. I think these things could improve Metal Fiend's gameplay quite a lot. Because I think, actually, he has a good understanding of the game and what he needs to deal with enemy units. For instance, the anti-tank guns against the Mathildas and stuff like that, or the Humber, for instance. So his choices for building units were not perfect. Like, for instance, the Assault Grenadier call-ins are more efficient than building the Assault Grenadiers in the base buildings, which he did once, not twice, but once. And he also called in an anti-tank gun. I also do that from time to time. That is okay, but it's more efficient to build them in the base and call in more assault grenadiers or more tank hunters. Yeah, so. But despite from that, I think his build was pretty neat. Actually, it was a good build, and I think as soon as he uses these follow-up commands things and teams, everything will be way better. Yeah, for him. But still, despite from that, still GG, well played, both of them. That was a nice match. And we learned something. We learned something about blobs. With that, let's say, let's have a good time in the future. Without blobs, maybe. See you guys.